Now coming to the next disease, which is called as a pneumonia. Pneumonia is also a bacterial disease which is caused by Streptococcus pneumonia, or it is also caused by Haemophilus influenzae. So these are the name of the pathogens: Streptococcus pneumonia and Haemophilus influenzae. So their main mode of transmission is inhaling the infected droplets, aerosols, which is released by infected person, and they basically infects the lung alveoli, sharing glasses of or utensils of an infected person. So they basically infects the lungs alveoli. The alveoli gets filled with the fluid, and that leads to a respiratory problem. When the alveoli, which are the blind sacs and of the respiratory system, when they get filled with the mucus, then they are not able to provide oxygen to the heart, and that leads to severe problem in respiration. It mainly occurs in infants and in old person. A healthy person get infection from the inhaling droplets which are released by the infected person or by the sputum of the patient. Okay, now in this case you have already studied what are the next symptoms: respiratory problem, fever, chills, cough, headache, and in severe cases, lips and fingernails turn grey to bluish color. You can see that they are taking oxygen, artificial oxygen, and the lungs are congested by the mucus, and severe cough is there. There is a bloody or a rusty sputum, or earlier we used to say saliva, but in this case we are saying it to be sputum, and incubation period is 1 to 3 days. Otherwise, if it is untreated, it may lead to disease, or it may lead to a severe disease or death. And the treatment is by taking antibiotics. See, for the bacterial disease we can take antibiotics which can cure. So in this, erythromycin or tetracycline can be taken for curing the disease called as a pneumonia, which is caused by Streptococcus pneumonia. Fine. Now next is the viral disease, which is a common cold. Common cold, it infects nose and respiratory passage but not the lungs. It lasts for 3 to 7 days. You can see it is in the diagram. You can see it is infecting the nasal cavity, pharynx and lungs, but in severe cases it moves down, otherwise it does not affect the lung. See, it is caused by a pathogen which is called as a rhinovirus, the strain of the rhinovirus. These virus infects the nose and respiratory passage. In this, it causes nasal congestion. These are the symptoms, or fever, headache, sore throat, cough, hoarseness. The voice gets little hard, tiredness, and it is caused by inhaling the droplets resulting from cough or sneezes of the infected person through contaminated objects by touching pen, books, cups, doorknobs or computer accessories, etc. Now in this, there is a no treatment otherwise, because it is a viral. It subsides in 3 to 7 days. Next is the protozoan disease, and this disease is malaria. Now you please be clear that female Anopheles mosquito is a vector. Female Anopheles mosquito does not cause malaria, but the protozoan which is present in, if present in female Anopheles mosquito, then only if it is there in our blood, in the human blood, then only it can cause malaria. This is the pathogen which is Plasmodium species, Plasmodium vivax, Plasmodium falciparum, Plasmodium malarial and Plasmodium ovale. So these are the different types of malaria causing agents. In this, the main symptom is that high chills and high fever which reoccurs after every 3 to 4 days. Whenever the Plasmodium release a toxin that is called as a hemozoin, then in the human body it leads to chill or high fever. Then only it causes, this is the main symptom of malaria. It leads to headache, fever, fatigue, pain, back pain, nausea, vomiting, or in severe cases it may lead to enlargement of the spleen and dry cough, skin in this, chills and sweating. So in this you know that Plasmodium, which is a protozoan, it is digenetic. What is it called as? It is a digenetic. What does it mean? That the malaria is caused by the agent Plasmodium, which completes its life cycle in two hosts. It completes in life cycle in two hosts. That is why it is called as digenetic. Okay, so in this there are two hosts. One is the primary host and then second is a secondary host. Now what are those? Primary host, the sexual cycle of the Plasmodium is completed in the female Anopheles mosquito. So female Anopheles mosquito is considered as a primary host. Why? Because here it completes its sexual cycle, and asexual part of the life cycle is completed in the man. Asexual life cycle is completed in the man. That is why it is called as a secondary host. Is it clear? So even though mosquito is a vector, it in the spread of the disease, but as the sexual cycle is completed in the female Anopheles, so it is considered as a primary host and the man is considered as a secondary host. Okay, now in the asexual phase you can see here that whenever the mosquito bites and if the protozoa Plasmodium is there, so it is sucking the blood and transferring sporozoites. It is sporozoites are introduced. Wait, it is called as sporozoites. So they are introducing sporozoites in the blood of a healthy person by infected female Anopheles mosquito along with its saliva while sucking the human blood. Now mosquito saliva contain an anticoagulant which prevents the coagulation of the blood while feeding. Sporozoites are the infective stage of parasites. They are minute, they are slightly sickle shaped or curved, and these then enters into the human blood by the bite of the infected mosquito. Now Plasmodium multiply by asexual reproduction, and that is called as a schizogony. The schizogony is the asexual mode of reproduction in which Plasmodium multiply.